live. We are live. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Heat Check Live Beat Review Show right here on YouTube. I'm your host, Desmond A., and we are here to have a good time. Sorry for that couple minutes delay. I'm not too late. My light actually just randomly broke, so I had to rush and grab another light. So I am here for you guys. Apologize for the slight tardiness. So, guys, Heat Check Live Beat Review Show right here on YouTube. I want to give a shout out to our last guest on the Made in the Studio podcast, producer AOB. Recently, his song with Rick Ross in the Dream came out today. Yep, today is Friday. So check out this song by Rick Ross in the Dream on Rick Ross's new project to hear some of the production from one of our Made in the Studio podcast guests. And if you haven't checked out the Made in the Studio podcast, please make sure you check it out. You can find it right here on my YouTube channel, and you can also find it anywhere that podcasts are played: Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Check out the Made in the Studio podcast, interviews with different producers, engineers, attorneys in the music game, giving you more game as a producer or artist checking out this stream. So make sure you check out the Made in the Studio podcast. Also, guys, got some good stuff coming up with for you guys. Next month, I don't want to say this month, but next month I have some like loop packs. I'm gonna take you into the studio and things like that. So it's gonna give you guys more access and whatnot. So I'm gonna show you more things, more loop packs. It's been a while since I've had a loop pack, so I just want to give you guys more value. So just be on the lookout for that. More announcements coming soon. Yes, shout out to Munchie the Beat in the chat. Shout out to you. Thank you so much for checking out the stream. So yeah, let's go ahead and get started, guys. So the Heat Check Live Beat Review Show. If you don't know who I am, what I'm doing, what is this? Who is this guy? Why should I be following his advice? Well, my name is Desmond A. I've been producing music for over 12 years now. Have music on different networks like eTelevision, Discovery Channel, Bravo, Sci-Fi, Tubi, and also have produced for different independent music artists, Soul Beats Online, have a podcast where I interview industry professionals. I've recorded multiple artists. I've done quite a bit of a lot of different stuff in different angles of the music game. That's what qualifies me to give you this advice, because I've seen a lot from a lot of different angles. So I'm going to give you a special perspective that you can't get anywhere else. So that's what qualifies me. And let me go ahead and clap it up. I forgot to gotta celebrate each other. So I had to play that sound effect, man. We are grateful to be with each other. So, a couple things here at the Heat Check Live Beat Review Show. There's no snapping, no roasting. We're not here to tear each other down or, play the dozens and get little kikis and stuff off. We don't do that here. It's essentially kind of like a boxing gym or a dojo. When you're in a boxing gym or a dojo, does your sensei, does your coach say, "Man, that was a weak, that was a weak hook. Man, that was a weak front kick." No, he pulls you aside and say, "Listen, you're ignorant. You need to be taught. I'm gonna show you how to do it." Hopefully they don't call you ignorant, but yeah, just being a little colorful there. So yes, so we're not gonna snap. We're not gonna roast. We're here to give you real actionable steps to help you grow in the music game. So if you're with that, please continue to stay tuned to the show. Also, recording artists. We have recording artists out there, guys. You are seeing this stream. Recording artists are accepted with the VIP Skip the Line. So you see the VIP Skip the Line up top. Also in the description, I need to do a better job of promoting that artists can come through with this VIP Skip the Line. And I want to push that out there a bit more, because I've noticed that artists who are paying to show up are talented, man. I'm really liking the music that's coming from those artists who have been joining the stream and Skip the Line. I've discovered some really good music. So, all the artists out there, please make your purchase, Skip the Line, and we'll play your music, but no artists on the free submissions. This is primarily a producer show, and I want to keep it that way. But man, you guys are talented out there, man. Shout out to all the recording artists who are doing their thing. So, guys, yes, let's go ahead and get started here. One more thing here. If this is your first time checking out the Heat Check, just letting you know, the free form closes at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and the free form opens at the end of the stream. So you have that window of time to submit your beats, and then after that window closes, then it's this VIP skip the line for producers as well. So producers, another benefit of the VIP skip the line is I play your whole beat. So if you want to do that, then please get that VIP skip the line. All right, all right, all right. So let's go ahead and get into it. We have a full house tonight. All right, let's take a look here. Tafara, hello, Desmond, submitted the wrong beat. Can I email you? Tafara, yes, go ahead. Tafara, hopefully you have my email address, Tafara, you should. Or you can even reply to the email that comes in when you do the submission. So just reply to that email or send me a direct email, and just make sure you label it like, hey, this is the corrected version of this one, and then I'll get you in. So yes, I'll go ahead and do that for you, Tafara. Shout out to you. A Heat Check regular, Tafara, in the building. All right, so let's go ahead and get started, guys. We have a full house tonight. I'm gonna go ahead and start with Prod KSPR with Light. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and play this beat, mute my mic, and give my feedback. So let's go ahead and take a listen. All right, all right, all right. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Prod KSPR with Light. So shout out to you, Prod SKPR, and thank you so much for submitting right here on the Heat Check. Now Prod SKPR, that was an interesting beat. You know, I usually don't hear that type of, style. I use a lot of nature sounds. It almost felt like somewhat like alternative. Like you might even have like an alternative singer, things like that. You know what I mean? So I'm thinking like, would this track even go to a rapper? Let me see really quickly. Let's play this. Okay, so I could hear a rapper on something like that. I'm actually possibly hearing somebody like maybe Wiz Khalifa on a track like that. That's who I could hear on that. He can kind of get his vibey type of sound on it. One thing I would look out for is still, even though you're using sub bass, try to pitch up your sub bass an octave or two, and make sure that everything is still in key. So make sure there's no points where your bass is off key. You know, it's real tricky. I think I might have heard one note that was slightly off. I think like by a half step. So watch that and just put everything back in key. You should be good to go. Yeah, everything sounds good to me. Another thing is I like the bass as well, like the bass that you chose. And make sure that your beat is dynamic, that it's really breathing. So if you're like listening to things at a really loud level, it can trick you. So make sure that you're monitoring things from like a medium level, and things don't feel or sound squashed or crammed in. So just do that test, make sure things are breathing, because I feel like I want a little bit more life, a little bit more snap to some of these elements, just especially based on what you're going for. So shout out to you, Prod SKPR. Thank you so much for submitting right here on the Heat Check. All right. Okay. Shout out to you too, Kwame. Kwame, shout out to you, Kwame. All right. I see more of UK rapper. Kind of Wiz would be cool too. Interesting. That's an interesting it's an interesting thought, Munchie. Who you thinking like what's that one maybe Little Sims? You think Little Sims, or you thinking like Central C? Who are you thinking, Munchie? All right. So let's go ahead and move on. We have KMP with Pretty Girl PYT. All right, I'm going to go ahead and play this beat, mute my mic, and give my feedback. So let's take a listen. All right. So KMP. Now, KMP, I just have this thing where when things are so off key, it's very hard for me to let it play. It's just a thing that happens with my ears. It's so KMP, please, one thing I would recommend for you to do is just learn how to get things to flow melodically well together, and then start from there. So I just want you to start bare bones. Just start with if you have like a keyboard, just learn your basic major scale, minor scale, because we're needing to just get a basic fusion of melodic elements together. But I'm gonna have to move forward from this particular track. So shout out to you, KMP, but I still thank you for this submission. You have a second submission here, KMP. Let's take a listen to this one. all right. Ladies and gentlemen, that was KMP with Nevada. Shout out to you, KMP, and thank you so much for submitting right here on the Heat Check. All right, so KMP, let me make sure I got everything pulled up here right real quick, guys. All right, so KMP, thank you so much for that submission. That one was melodically better than I could, I definitely check that one out. So that one's melodically better. I actually like the drum bounce to that one as well. I even like the do 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 do. A part of me wants to just mute like that bass that you had and just keep the drum pattern in the do 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 do. It makes me want to keep those two elements and then build from there. It's like I know what direction that you're trying to go to. That the bass that you added, just it threw things off. Let's mute that bass. Let's start with that drum pattern and those melodic elements, and let's go from there. Let's see what else you could do. Listen critically to some of your favorite producers and just figure out why they're doing certain things. So always be a student. Don't always listen to music just as a fan. I was listening to the new Future album recently, and I was just listening to how the producers would do certain things with the chords, especially Smat Certified. Smat, respond to my DMs, man. I need you on my podcast. But yeah, Smat Certified, I was listening how he was doing certain things with the chords and the tension with the bass. So, we're never too good or too big to learn something new and listen as students and pick up different things that we could put in our back pocket. But shout out to you, and thanks so much for submitting right here on the Heat Check. All right. Moving forward, we have Munchie the Beat. All right, we have Munchie the Beat in the chat as well. Great energy tonight. Much love to the whole community. Exactly. All right, so Munchie the Beat, we are going to play your track here now. This one is called Chase the Money. All right, I'm going to go ahead and play this beat, mute my mic, and give my feedback. So let's take a listen. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Munchie the Beat with Chase the Money. Shout out to you, Munchie the Beat, and thank you so much for submitting right here on Heat Check. Now, Munchie, good beat overall. I was freestyling. I muted myself. Y'all don't need to hear me freestyle. And that's the thing with beats like that. Beats that don't have too many elements. They have a whole lot of space. That's the thing that a lot of producers don't recognize, especially producers who just tend to make beats at home and don't really get around artists. They don't realize that the fact that they're going crazy with Portal and Omnisphere and Xenology and Glitch, and they're going crazy. They're like, oh, this is the most fire thing ever, I'm the next Southside, and you're doing all that to your with yourself, and you're impressing yourself and other producers, but you don't know that artists are listening with different ears. They're listening for the space for them to get off, what they need to do. And this beat reminded me of that. I instantly started freestyling because it was just a wide open lane for me to do it. So definitely keep that up. Keep up that wide open type of production style. You're gonna box out a lot of other producers who think they're fire, and you're gonna play your stuff, and they're gonna be like, you know, my stuff is better. Then the artist is gonna be in the corner mumbling like I was mumbling. You know what I mean? So that's how it goes, man. That's how the game goes. People don't know that too. So, um, now Munchie the beat. One thing that stood out to me on that beat was something was going on with your 808s. It's like all the frequencies below almost sounded like 90 hertz. Everything on the low sub frequencies was cut off. Now, this is something that happened to another producer here, Neptune Blue. Neptune Blue, shout out to you. Haven't seen you in a little bit. If you out there busy, we definitely want to see you back on the stream. But the same thing happened to Neptune Blue. It's like something was cutting off his bass at a certain point, and I couldn't hear any of the bass or the low sub. So in his case, he was using a lot of it had to do with his listening environment, like his whatever. I believe he was using a laptop. He couldn't really hear the sub frequencies, so he was just producing and couldn't hear that the fact that stuff was missing. So something is happening. Let me see if I can even pull it up here on the analyzer in the parametric EQ. So something is just cutting it off. So let's see here. Let's see. Now something is telling me that it might have to do with the actual 808 that you selected, because I'm seeing the subs move, but I'm not actually feeling the actual sub, which is interesting. So Munchie, I would definitely just try. Um, okay, let me see. Oh, that's what it is. Okay, okay. Oh, that's what it is. I think you're doing something. Okay, okay. So Munchie, the thing is with a lot of modern production, a lot of these modern sound kits, a lot of them already sound really good. So it's a lot of it is just about balancing your volume, and that's really one of the main things is balancing your volume. So you really, especially you really don't need to do any cutting like that. Um, this is the thing, Munchie, a way to level set yourself, and this is something that I had to learn when I started mixing vocals. Is a way to level set yourself and know where you're at is to use references or find other songs from other producers and listen to them. So you have your beat playing, then you play yours. You have your beat playing, excuse me, you have the other person's beat playing, and then you play yours, then your beat, then and theirs. So you keep going back and forth, and you listen. Okay, why does my low end close? Is my bass close to where theirs is? Obviously, they're probably getting it mixed by a superstar engineer. If you're talking about like an instrumental of major record, but you just want to just have a guideline, have a guide and know, okay, this is where the bass should be, this is where the sub should be, because it just sounds cut. It sounds cut. I'm hearing that mid-range tone, but I'm not hearing the of the bass, if that makes sense. So let's watch that and use another beat, commercial instrumental, A and B yours, and you can reference where to get your bass set, so you're not flying blind. That's a big mistake I made when I first started mixing vocals, was just doing stuff, and man, I wasted a lot of time doing that. So references are definitely important. So shout out to you, Munchie. Thanks so much for submitting on the heat check. All right, Tafara, I see. Okay, so Tafara, you went ahead and sent your email, so we'll make sure we got the new version. And guys, as I'm getting everything updated here, I want you guys to make sure that you go to DesmondASounds.com to get some free FL Studio Patcher plugins, get some free loops. I got percussion loops, I have guitar loops, I have piano loops. So make sure you go to DesmondASounds.com to get what you need. So do not let that slip, guys. And once again, I'm going to have new loops coming next month, so be on the lookout for that in August. Also, guys, if you need additional help, I still have my one-on-one coaching calls on Zoom, so you can see the link in the chat, also in the description, and also on my website, DesmondASounds.com. So if you need more hands-on help, we can get on Zoom. I could take a look at your DAW, and we can just run through some stuff. I have a half-hour option now, and I have a full-hour option just for more availability for more producers. So you guys check that out, DesmondASounds.com. All right, so Tafara, I got you all set up here, got the new version, and we're gonna move forward to Munchie's second submission of the night. This one is called Cutthroat. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and play this beat, mute my mic, and give my feedback. So let's take a listen.
Munchie, the beat.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Munchie the beat with Cutthroat. Munchie, thank you so much for submitting right here on the heat check. Now, Munchie, oh, and one more second here, Munchie. I actually needed to, I had a couple, sorry, I just hit my mic. I had a couple more notes on your other beat here. I actually skipped past it because went into a lot of detail. So on your other beat, Munchie, let's also watch the string level. Those strings that you had in was a little loud. And also you had a vocal sample that came in a bit later. That one just interfered with the flow of the artist. So whatever vocal sample you had later in that other beat, your first beat, let's go ahead and mute that. Just leave the space for the artist. All right. Now, Munchie, for this beat, This beat just felt more like a freestyle beat. I can't quite hear someone making a full song to it. I'm hearing someone like an East Coast rapper just getting their energy off, getting their bars off. I'm thinking like I'm gonna say Dave East or somebody like that, just freestyling, getting some bars off once again. But just the way that it is didn't really feel like full song. It just felt like um almost like a 1 minute YouTube video of somebody just spitting bars. So if we wanted to take this one to the next level, um, let's imagine like adding more to it. We just had the vocal sample and the drums. So just I like to sometimes put myself in the position of the recording artist and just rap to myself, sing to myself, and then da 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 da, and then if I was an artist, I'd want the beat to go like this, and I want this element here. So I like to put myself in the position of the other person, so that way I know what to add without doing too much. And sometimes that even helps me change my tempo. So if I have a beat going and I'm like, that's good, but I'm not quite sure if I want it to be slower or quicker, I just start mumbling to myself. Da, 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 da. Okay, if I was an artist, I'd want this to be a couple BPMs further. So, put yourself in the position of an artist, and it's going to help you know what additional layers to add. Because I feel like there's more we can do with this one. It's just like this feels like version 1, and I feel like you could push this more to in like a version 2. So let's keep this beat, but work on it, adding more to it. Also, this one, I'm hearing the frequency cutoff more prominent. I'm even hearing part of the kick getting cut off frequency wise. So whatever cutting that you're doing, once again, watch that because it's just hacking off too much of that low end sound. So shout out to you, Munchie. Shout out to you. Thank you so much for submitting right here in the heat check. All right. Moving forward, we have Fireboy37 with WDN. All right, I'm going to go ahead and play this beat, mute my mic, and give my feedbacks. Let's go ahead and take a listen.
Ayo, Fire.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Fireboy37 with WDN. All right. Shout out to you, Fireboy, and thank you so much for submitting right here on the heat check. Now, Fireboy, overall, good tone of the beat. I know what kind of energy you are going for with this particular track. That being said, man, it's just like the sound selection of certain elements of that beat really threw it off. Most particularly was the kick. that kick felt very, it felt hollow, and it didn't really match the texture of the rest of the instruments in this beat. So definitely please go through your sound selection of different kicks and just sort through. Just click, go through, go through, go through, and just do it. So one thing that I used to do is I would play the beat, then I would go through my different kicks and then try to figure out which kick worked. So I would go through like, okay, is this kick gonna work with the music? Is this kick gonna work with the music? Is this one, this one, this one, this one? Like I would click through, but in one of my most recent tutorial videos, my last tutorial video you can find here on my YouTube channel, I pointed out that here in FL Studio, if you pick a sound, hold shift, and press the right arrow key, it's gonna automatically send a new kick into your channel rack here, into your, excuse me, your the sampler right here, and you could just instantly demo out different kicks as the music is playing. So that's a great way to help with your sound selection, because that kick really didn't feel like it fit the rest of the music. Also the clap, I felt like we could have selected a different clap, and that would match the texture of the music. But other than that, once again, overall good vibe of the beat, overall good tone on the beat. But yeah, the sound selection of those drums just threw things off. So just watch that, make those changes, and you'll be all good to go. So shout out to you, Fireboy37. All right, moving forward, we have AR Knight with Sin. Is that supposed to be Sin Mañana? All right. Or Sin Manana? Sin Mañana, I believe. All right. So let's go ahead and play this beat by AR Knight. I'm going to mute my mic and give my feedback. So let's take a listen. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, that was AR Knight with Sin Mañana. Shout out to you, AR Knight, and thank you so much for submitting right here on the Heat Check. Now, AR Knight, man, definitely a good beat, but the chords, this whatever, let me play that again. It sounds like almost like the pad, that synth pad you're using. Meow, 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 that meow. Watch that. It almost sounds like the release of some of those notes are kind of like falling on top of each other, and it's causing a little bit of dissonance there. Yeah, so kind of watch the cutoff on some of those notes. So whatever you're doing in your piano roll, you might need to just watch those notes and make sure that they're cutting off on time. or if there's something with the release on whatever VST that you're using, watch that, because I want people to be able to get into the music, because you produce this beat to, grow and grow and grow, and the music started to get more and more exciting, and I want the person listening to actually listen and get into the music. So just watch that, and you'll be fine. Other than that, overall good beat. I'm definitely getting sync vibes. So it's, definitely I could hear someone who's looking for music on like TV shows and things like that, looking for something like that. So, keep it up, keep making that music. The next loop pack I make should have more of these type of upbeat percussion type of loops, percussion elements. We got a lot of trap loops and a lot of stuff like that already out there in the game. So I want to bring that more international type of vibes. But once again, guys, be on the lookout. Say around August, we should have that next loop pack out. But yeah, AR Knight, once again, good beat. Just watch that synth pad that you had going on there. Watch the notes. You can even experiment with just try like that, that 80s, the synth pad is a bit more airy and lighter. You can experiment with that as well. Experiment replacing that, your synth pad that you have there, with that 80s synth pad. I think it's like the Juno 106, I believe. Or you could try adding it on top of that. So just whatever vibes out with you, just throwing out a couple ideas. So shout out to you, AR Knight. Thank you so much for submitting right here on the Heat Check. All right, moving forward, we have another submission. Once again, we have AR Knight with Lord Willings. All right, I'm going to go ahead and play this beat, mute my mic, and give my feedback. So let's take a listen. Ladies and gentlemen, that was AR Knight with Lord Willings. Shout out to you, AR Knight, and thank you so much for submitting right here on the Heat Check. Now, AR Knight, another good beat. It one thing that stood out to me on that beat is kind of watch that limiter that you got there going, AR Knight. I know when we get a good limiter going, we kind of want to go crazy with it. And there's nothing like nice limiting. When you finish a beat, and you put the limiter on it, and you're looking at the limiter going, and you're like, oh yes, I'm getting this nice limiting. Everything is sounding fire. Everything is sounding glued together. But kind of watch that. One thing is like we want the limiter to be more felt than heard. So like try to dial back. And a good thing to do with a limiter, to kind of level set yourself. This is one of my favorite limiters right here these days, the Ultra Maximizer by Waves. And of course, you guys can use the whatever you're using, Pro L, um, whatever. There's so many good limiters out there. So a good way to level set yourself with a limiter, AR Knight, is just to, whenever you got your stuff nice and limited, you're digging it, you're grooving in your studio, you know, always turn off and on the limiter and just see like what am I losing when I turn on the limiter? Am I losing anything when I turn on the limiter, or is it enhancing what's there? Because one thing that can happen is when we start to limit things somewhat a bit too much and we turn off the limiter, we're like, ooh, I missed the pop, the snap of my percussion elements when I turn off my limiter. But when I turn it on, it's louder, it's thicker, it's more glued together. It has this more drive to it, nice saturation. Then we turn it off, it kind of opens up and like, you know. So we want to A and B things with the limiter, so that way we can balance between what we produced in our DAW, using the limiter to put everything together and get a nice little balance of a final beat, a final product. Because, you know, these limiters are pretty fun to mess with. I'll be honest, man. You know, we got different modes here. You can, you know, listen to the delta, gain match. You can see the attenuation. You can mess with this. You can do all kinds of stuff, man. They you know, they kind of give us all kinds of toys these days with the with these plugins. So we just kind of got to be careful in the process that we're not doing a little too much. But yeah, AR Knight, you know, I'm definitely seeing that, you know, you have this upbeat kind of vibe, you have this upbeat kind of energy to your stuff. So keep that up, man. We want that more dancing element in the game. So, you know, shout out to you, AR Knight. And yeah, as far as more feedback to that, I would just kind of need to hear like an artist on that type of beat to figure out how we're gonna structure everything a bit more. But shout out to you, AR Knight. Thank you so much. Submitting on the heat check. I didn't know what exactly. This is one of those, but obviously major improvements needed, and I don't know what exactly. Okay. So it looks like we're getting to Tafara next. Okay. Shout out to you, Tafara. Looked like he was chatting with us in the chat. And guys, once again, don't forget DesmondASounds.com. Get loops, patch your plugins, free guides. I have this guide on my website called DMs to Dollars. I have a guide and a masterclass. So we have a DMs to Dollar guide. You can also find that in the description. It's going to give you some game on networking with people via Instagram. So if you use Instagram, you want to connect with people, make sure you get that guide. It's going to help you in your journey. I've done a lot via Instagram, so it's just some free game for you guys. All right, now we have Tafara with Sky Beat. All right, I'm going to go ahead and play this beat, mute my mic, and give my feedback. So let's take a listen. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Tafara with Sky Beat. All right. Shout out to you, Tafara, and thank you so much for submitting right here on the Heat Check. Now, Tafara, that overall beat was good, and it was well made for a songwriter to get on it. You know, one thing that shocked me is when I first moved. I won't say first moved to Atlanta. A couple years after I moved to Atlanta, making a track and then having a songwriter next to me. One songwriter in particular. Shout out to you, Ron, if you're out there. Me making a beat, and then I'm still structuring the beat, and then the songwriter wrote this entire concept. I'm like, how did you do all that? I'm still arranging the beat. He had a whole everything. I'm like, wow, that's just... So I say that to say that a lot of songwriters, a lot of rappers, singers, everything like that, but for this type of track in particular, a lot of songwriters don't need too many elements. They need a lot of space. They almost want things to be almost a little unfinished. You know what I mean? And I say that in a good way. I say that because they know that they're going to be the final element to complete the song. And I was getting that type of vibe from this beat. Now, one thing that stood out to me on this beat, you had good drums. I like the bass. I might want a little kiss of saturation on the bass, but that's just a personal thing. It's nice and subby, so don't ruin that. Keep subby bass. We need that. One thing that got me on this beat was that the third and the fourth chord, like those two turnaround chords, especially the last chord, how you're resolving it, I feel like a songwriter could make it work, but it could be a bit more inviting. So just those dun dun dun, those two chords to resolve the chord progression, dun dun, especially the last one. You know, keep everything in your DAW, but kind of figure out like what can I do to these two chords to make it feel a little less tense. So how can you make those last two chords feel a little less tense? You know, do you maybe need to just move one of the notes in the chord? Do you need to mute one of the notes in the chord? But just figure out those two chords, the last two chords in progression. I think once you fix that, you'll be all good to go with this beat. Just save it. Of course, make sure you're posting tight beats, because tight beats are almost like investments, because you never know who's going to run across it. Just throw it on the YouTube channel, Tim's type beat, throw your email up, or throw a BeatStars up if you got a BeatStars or BeatStore in general. It doesn't have to be one particular platform, and then you never know who could come across it. These artists are in the studio. They have their own producers. They have their engineers who got beats from other people, but sometimes artists are human too. You know, big artists are human too. They're gonna get on YouTube with their AirPods in between sessions. They're gonna be like, so and so type beat, let me listen. So and so type beat, let me listen. Oh, that's it. That's what I want. Then before you know it, hey, you never know what could happen. Okay, you caught me. I've been experimenting with voicings. Okay. Yeah. I mean, that's good. You know, keep experimenting. Keep experimenting. Keep experimenting, man. Like, don't stop. Don't get too comfortable. It's easy to get comfortable with our process as producers. So keep on experimenting, but just watch that. Because I've done similar things. That's how I was able to catch that. So shout out to you, Tafara. Shout out to you. And thank you so much for submitting right here on the Heat Check. All right, we got our second submission from Tafara here. This one is called Don't Let Go of Me. All right, I'm going to go ahead and play this beat, mute my mic, and give my feedback. So let's take a listen. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Tafara with Don't Let Go of Me Too. Shout out to you, Tafara, and thank you so much for submitting right here on the Heat Check. Now, Tafara, man, that overall beat was creative, man. It had a lot of good vibes, a lot of good energy. I like how you added that whistle there, the mouth whistle. That's real creative, and everything flowed. Um, Let me play certain elements here one more time. I like that vocal sample too. I don't know if we I like the Rhodes piano that you added in there. I'm not quite sure if it's needed. So Tafara, that's the tricky thing. Tafara, I would want you to listen back to this beat and whatever song that you like out there, whatever artist you like, Tim's, Burna Boy, whoever, like really sit down, put yourself in position of a recording artist, sing to yourself. Just sing to yourself out loud with the beat playing out loud, and make sure that as you're listening back, you have a clear path to get your vocals on this beat. Make sure you have a totally clear path. If you feel like anything as you're doing that, you feel like you run into something melodically, go ahead and hit that mute button. I know it's hard. I know sometimes we add really cool stuff to our beats and our production. We're like, oh, I really want that in there. But we don't want to get anything to interfere with the songwriting. So it's better to have slightly too few elements than slightly too many elements. And that's something I had to learn the hard way. Just because I like that thing in the beat, that thing that I added could be the thing that makes the artist or a songwriter go, yeah, you know. So just do that. It's very humbling too, because man, I do this whole crazy thing on my keyboard. Sometimes I go try to think like I'm a 90s R&B producer or something, you know, and I'm like, oh, I'm going crazy. And then I'm like, oh, I gotta go ahead and mute that, you know. But and another thing is you can, you know, add certain elements on the outro. That's the thing, like as things are fading off, if you want to show off your musicality, do on the outro as things are kind of fading out. That's a trick I learned, you know. So yeah, the piano disturbs the artist. That's why we come here. Thanks for the advice. You are welcome, Tafara. You are welcome. Thank you so much for submitting on the Heat Check. Keep cooking up that fire, man. Definitely talented, man. Definitely talented. All right. Moving forward, we have Prince. It's Prince Beats. All right. I'm going to go ahead and play this beat, mute my mic, and give my feedback. So let's take a listen. Shout out to you, is Prince Beats. Prince Beats, thank you so much for submitting right here on the Heat Check. Now, it's Prince Beats, man. That beat has potential. It has a lot of good elements to it, but certain things were added in there that got in the way. It's almost like watching a movie and it has like a nice, dark theme. The colors are real city lights and things like that. And then something happens in the movie where like gets like super bright, and then you're like, whoa, what happened? I was just into the vibe, and it's like jarring, and it kind of throws you off, like, what just happened there? It's like this beat has really good elements to it. I like the chord, that pad that you have going. I like how it sounds. I like how it feels. I like that soft gated lead that you added. That's really good. I'm feeling the drum pattern that you have going. One thing that threw me off was the guitar. Also, another thing that threw me off was the 808s that you had going a little bit later. They sounded like they might not be in key, so definitely always push things up an octave or two to hear everything. It's easier for the human ear to hear higher frequencies, and then if it sounds good in a higher octave, bring it down to its normal octave, and you'll be able to tell everything is correct. So I would say keep this beat, keep the chords, keep that lead, keep the drums, mute everything else. And I'm really hearing like a singer on this. I'm hearing a singer go crazy on this. So just keep those elements and put yourself in the mindset of a singer, a popular singer who just wants to get off their emotions, something just crazy. They just want to shed their soul to something, and I feel like this could be the instrumental for it. But we have to make sure we don't do things to throw somebody off, because when these artists get in the studio, they really lock in. You know what I mean? So yeah, man. So good elements. And let's just kind of watch those other things that came in. Just put yourself in the position of a powerful singer, and that should help guide you more. But shout out to you. It's Prince Beats. And thank you so much for submitting right here on the Heat Check. All right. 90s R&B producer is crazy. LL saying he's Clever Lion. No, man, that whole Teddy Riley thing. Don't nobody want, I want to hear that kind of stuff, but we kind of need to simplify things a bit more for, the mainstream audience. Nobody wants to hear R&B beat and using my mod wheel and doing the Zondo and stuff like that. Like, they don't want to hear that. That's just why. That's just for me and other producers to be like, oh, that's fire. You fire, man. No, but it's tempting though. It's tempting, but there's sophistication and simplicity. So that's the thing that I've had to learn. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, we have It's Prince Beats, second submission of the night with Davido. All right, I'm going to go ahead and play this beat, mute my mic, and give my feedback. So let's take a listen. Shout out to you. It's Prince Beats, man. Man, that beat just yeah. I actually thought I was that actually beat. Excuse me. That beat. I actually thought of a hook to that beat. Yeah, I'm about. I want to cut though, man. Holla at me, man. But the hook I was thinking of on this one is Prince Beats was the melody was even giving it to me. Hold on. Where's the hook? Where is it? Here we go. Here's the hook. The melody. Yeah, so the song could be the artist talking about they can do good all by themselves. You know, they don't necessarily need you, or maybe the relationship is over and they can do things all by themselves. So that's the kind of the song concept that just hit me when I was listening to that. But you know, I'm gonna need a cut. I'm gonna need a cut if this goes viral. You know what I'm saying? So you know, holla at me if this does go viral. You could just hit me with some.
Donations.
Hit me with a donation, though. But shout out to you. Shout out to you, It's Prince Beats. Shout out to you. Definitely a fire track. All right. So let me see. Any constructive feedback on that one, It's Prince Beats? Nah, man. I think this one is good to go. This one is. Oh, you got the sax going. Yeah, man. I don't have nothing else to add to that one. I don't have nothing else to get that one. All right. Okay, so shout out to you, Clever Lion. He said Mike Dean gets away with it. Yeah, yes, he goes crazy. All right, Clever Lion. We got Clever Lion in the building with the VIP. Skip the line. So I got to hit Clever Lion with the
New VIP.
Skip the line. All right, let me go ahead and pull up Clever Lion's submission here. And once again, shout out to you, It's Prince Beats, man. Definitely appreciate those vibes. All right, so we're pulling up Clever Lion here. While we're pulling up Clever Lion's submission here, guys, once again, go to DesmondASounds.com. Matter of fact, guys, don't forget that you can, I keep forgetting to announce this, I actually have a half-hour option for my Zoom one-on-one coaching sessions. So if you guys want to hop on Zoom for 1 hour, we could do that. Or if we want to do just 30 minutes, you know, go ahead and do 30 minutes. We'll go ahead and get on Zoom, help you out with anything. If you want to do the hour, that's cool. But if you just want 30 minutes, I've just now added that option. I keep forgetting to announce it. Shame on me. But yes, 30-minute option. We can get on Zoom. Any type of pressing issue that you have, I can help you out with. So you can find that at DesmondASounds.com/coaching, or you can just go to DesmondASounds.com where you can find any and everything that you need. All right. Let me make sure I put your name here. All right. Okay. Clever Lion here. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, we got Clever Lion with the VIP Skip the Line, which means we're going to play the whole thing. So, I'm going to go ahead and play these beats, play this first beat, mute my mic, and give my feedback. So, let's take a listen. All right. Let's take a listen. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Clever Line with a
New VIP.
new VIP. Skip the line. So shout out to you, Clever Line, and thank you so much for submitting right here on the Heat Check. Now, Clever Line. So a couple things with that beat. So overall, musically, I can't say anything musically in that beat was incorrect or just not correct or musically off or anything like that. It's just that, well, let me start from the top. The first thing is that like the drum groove that you have there was it felt a bit stiff, and I'm thinking it could even be the tempo, because I want the tempo of the beat to be pushed up slightly. Maybe even, when I say slightly, I mean even 2 beats per minute. And I just want a little bit of I want to be able to like move my shoulders to it just a little bit more. It felt more like a this, and I want more of a this. So when we're even listening to the drum groove of the beat, I feel like we should be able to move to it a bit more. And when I was speaking about musically, it felt like the main key that you had there, the main sound that you had there, do do do. It felt, nothing about it was bad, but it felt almost, I don't want to say like stock. It just felt like I wanted something with a little more. I wanted something to make me feel more. It's almost like I wanted, if I just had your drum pattern, right? And then I have the main sound that you have. So I just have the drum pattern going and that doom, doom, doom. I want to still be able to just those 2 elements. I want to still be able to feel something. I still want to be able to, oh, okay. I still want to be able to have that feeling. And those 2 elements, like, I just want more feel. I want more bounce to it. So I would say with your main sound, like what type of VSTs are you using right now, Clever Line? Are you using like stock VSTs? Are you using like Logic stock VSTs, or just stock VSTs in general? Like what exactly are you using there for those main sounds? Because something about it, I just want to, like, I don't know how to say it, like more heart. I want something like pull me in more. And even the articulation of the keys, do do do, like do. I don't even know how to say it. I want my emotions. This is how we're gonna say it, Clever Line. I want my emotions to be more excited, even if I just have that drum pattern in that main key sound. Okay, Core Triton Extreme and Pigments. Those are 2. Okay, those are 2 good VSTs. So with that, I would say this, Clever Lion, and it's a thing when you're kind of experimenting with different genres, is to, when you're listening to like these type of Afrobeat genres, and you're getting into a different world. Like when I always say like listen to things as a student, but sometimes you want to listen so closely that you're even like isolating certain sounds in your mind. So if you're listening to a Burna Boy beat, listen like, okay, that person has like they're using a bell as the main sound, and then it's just some nice hard drums, and I'm still feeling emotions. Like what is that? What is it about it? Then you might keep listening. You're like, oh, it's just the overall progression. It's just the drums and those keys and those bells that's making me feel the emotions of the beat. So I would say keep experimenting, keep trying different things out, keep listening as a student, and then listen to what those individual elements are that are making the bigger Afrobeat songs that you want to get to eventually. What's making those that? What's evoking the emotions so much? I could play a certain instrumental and then it just instantly I feel it. So I guess I want more. I want my emotions evoked more through the drums and the main sound in this beat. So shout out to you, Clever Lion. Thank you so much for submitting right here on the Heat Check. All right. Second submission of the day with Clever Lion with the new VIP Skip the Line. We have Raga Reggae. All right, I'm going to go ahead and play this beat, mute my mic, and give my feedback. So let's take a listen. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Clever Lion with a
New VIP.
Skip the Line, showing love to the stream and getting that VIP Skip the Line. So shout out to you, Clever Lion, and thank you so much for your submission. Now, Clever Lion, so for this beat, it's, I don't want to say, how can I say this? I want to be pulled in emotionally a bit more into the music. And it was just like, it was something about, it's just something about this particular progression that just, it didn't pull me in the pop side. It didn't pull me into the Afro pop side. It just seemed kind of there. Like the progression didn't really make me feel anything. So, and this is a thing. This is a thing that I do, and this is a thing that my last Made in the Studio podcast guest, AOB, he mentioned is, I don't do this all the time, so let me say that. But it's like when coming up with an idea, when coming up with a beat or anything like that, before even getting to some of our sounds that we really like, sometimes we'll just sit here and let me see if I can find where's FL Keys. I'll just search before we even get to like a VST with a lot of character and sounds and things like that. You can even like noodle around on your keyboard, or I know a lot of people click things in and then just kind of like figure out, because if things sound good on something generic like this, so if you can mess around and play something that feels good, like when you have something real like a generic VST like FL Keys or whatever you're using, and you can start to feel what's happening, then whenever you drop it into something like Pigments or Korg Triton Extreme, you're taking things to the next level. So it's almost like I want you to feel things from a baseline level, and then I want you to add more. So if you're like, okay, I'm gonna make an Afro beat, I'm gonna make a reggae beat, I want you to feel the core of the beat, feel the main melody of the beat, then feel the drums that you add to it. Like make sure that we're not losing feeling or skipping past feeling to just continue adding on to the beat and to continue, getting through the beat. We want to, at its core, we want to feel that emotion. So I would just say kind of focus on how you're feeling about your main melody of your beat, especially when you're messing with these genres. Like really feel it, and then you can like add that cool bass line that you added. You can add the drums, you can add everything like that, but I want the core of it to still be strong. Also, I felt like the bass that you added was just a little overwhelming. I don't know if you use some type of limiter or something, but something about the bass just felt a little overwhelming. I don't know if we need to pull it down a little bit, but something about that bass was just a little overwhelming. We might need to pull it down. And then when we got to the horn section, the horns was a bit harsh on the ears. It felt like it started to interfere on the musical elements. You can maybe even have horns, but the horns, in my head, when I heard those horns, I heard like horns that were kind of drowned out by reverb and kind of like pushed to the sides, and then the rest of the melody was going. That's what I heard in my head. And then these horns were just kind of harsh and in the way. So we can even mute those horns, or even, try things. You can mute the horns or try what I said, drown things out with reverb. So shout out to you, AR Knight. And thank you so much submitting right here on the Heat Check with the VIP Skip the Line. All right, so we got AR Knight in the chat. AR Knight in the chat. All right, shout out to you. Yeah, the stream is almost over, AR Knight. We did have Clever Line with the VIP Skip the Line. Got our last submission coming up here. But yes, AR Knight did your feedback already. So check out the playback here in the live stream, or you can watch the playback on the actual playback. Whenever the stream ends, you can see the YouTube. So shout out to you, AR Knight, and thank you so much for supporting the channel, the live stream, and everything like that. Shout out to you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have our final submission of the day with Millie Beats. So we got Millie Beats. I'm gonna go ahead and play Bands by Millie Beats. Then I'm gonna go ahead and mute my mic and give my feedback. So let's take a listen.
So what I want to talk to you two about is the trouble that you've been getting into. Boys, the Lord didn't put you here to be shooting and killing each other. It's right here in the Bible. Exodus 20:13. Thou shalt not kill.
God damn, Millie, you bad.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was Millie Beats with Bands. Millie Beats, thank you so much for your submission this week. Now, Millie Beats. Overall, I liked the drums to it. I like the vocal sample that you had. The main piano sound that you had, and also the high-pitched piano. I feel like we can mute those two elements and just think of something more. Think of something that's going to catch the ear more, because this one just felt like it felt okay, but I feel like you could dig deeper and just make something that's more compelling, make something that's more something that's just gonna hook the listener more. Just because I felt like this was just, it was okay. I know you can pull out more creativity, so mute those two elements. You don't have to get rid of everything else. I like the vocal sample, I like the drums, but try harder, try more, like push harder. If YG was in the studio, Millie, and he was listening, you about to play this beat, what would you do to this beat? You know what I'm saying? So keep some of the elements, but try different things out. I think you could push this beat further. I wanted to add some bells or a lead. You could try that, but I feel like that main low piano that you had, you'll have a lot of these good West Coast beats, but I just feel like I know you can impress me more. Not me. I know you can impress the listener more, the artist more. So I think we could just don't get rid of this, but experiment more, just a little bit more. Shout out to you, Millie Beats. Yes, I see you in the chat, Millie Beats, as well. Clever Line is showing you love on this track as well. Shout out to him. All right. Moving forward, ladies and gentlemen, we have Millie Beats with No More. All right, I'm going to go ahead and play this beat, mute my mic, and give my feedback. So let's take a listen.
God damn, Millie, you bad. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Millie Beats with No More. All right. So shout out to you, Millie Beats. Thank you so much for your submission on this week's Heat Check. Now, Millie Beats, the beat, I'm just falling over myself. The beat itself was good. It's just that that sample just started to float all over the place tempo wise. So watch that. You can use the sample as the intro, then cut and then let your beat drop. But it kept that sample was floating all over the place tempo wise. So it's gonna be very difficult for an artist to catch that. So I say you can leave the sample in the intro, cut it, and then let the beat drop. And then for the hook part, mute the sample and just let the artist do their thing. Because the beat itself is good. So you can start the track with the sample just to get them excited, cut it, and let that hard West Coast groove, West Coast bounce that you have, really hit people, hit the listener. I was, freestyling. I felt the energy in that one. So shout out to you, Millie Beats. Shout out to you. And thank you so much for submitting right here on the Heat Check. All right, ladies and gentlemen, looks like that was our final submission of the night. Guys, it's a great show, man. Packed house tonight. So clap it up for yourselves. All right. So guys, once again, don't forget, get the free guides, free loops, everything, DesmondASounds.com. I now have 30-minute Zoom coaching calls. So if you just want to hop on the coaching call, I have a 30-minute option now, and also an hour option, so we can help do anything that you need. Also, free stuff on my website. You guys get my free content here on my YouTube channel, tutorials, everything like that. Also, make sure you check out the Made in the Studio podcast. Our last guest, AOB, just got a placement on this new Rick Ross album, so make sure you guys check that out. His track is the one featuring The Dream, so show support to the producer there. Go ahead, Millie. You can go ahead and drop your question. I do have to run, but you can go ahead and drop your question. I got you, Millie. So guys, thank you so much. Once again, I'm going to have some loops coming out next month. We should have a show next Friday. There's some things going on out here. Music conferences, just things in general going on next week. So I might move the day, or I might, that's a good idea. I could possibly move the day. So I'm going to go ahead and open up the form after the stream ends. And then if I have to do any type of adjustments with the time or no show next Friday, I'll make the update. So I'll just open the form, and if anything changes, you guys know I update you guys via my Discord, via email directly, via my YouTube, and sometimes my Instagram. So I keep you guys updated everywhere, but I'm gonna open up the form as soon as the stream ends, and we'll see if we have a show next Friday. We should though. I'm leaning more towards yes than no. So, Millie, you got your question coming, man. Go ahead and drop it. I got to run, man. So let me know if you could drop your question, Millie. If you could drop your question, Millie, go ahead, do it. Go ahead and do it. I know you're using like an app or something like that. So let's do this, Millie. Since I do have to run, please, Millie, you can hit me up on Instagram. Hit me up on Instagram or hit me up on my Discord, and then I'll get your question, and then I answer you there, because I do have to run, guys. So, guys, thank you so much for joining the Heat Check. I will see you guys most likely next week, but if I don't, I want you guys to have a safe weekend. Check out my last tutorial video on FL Studio, Made in the Studio podcast, everything like that. Thank you guys so much for checking out the stream. I'll see y'all hopefully next week, but if I don't,